So, in this video today, we're going to be talking about Jaden Newman. And we're going to be talking about, is she still playing basketball now? What's going on? Why she didn't make the WNBA? And really just, all in all, why she was not, as she wanted to be, the first, female player in the NBA, which is obviously never going to happen. Or was she even better than her brother, who right now is averaging 0 points per game at the NAIA level? But before we get on to that, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to 40,200 subscribers by the end of the day. So, anyway, let's talk about Jaden Newman. So, Jaden Newman was so good when she was young. And, that's just not even, she played varsity as a 5th grader. And, you can see, she had ability. She was 10 years old here. And, yeah, obviously, that's not the best form to be shooting from. But she is crossing people up, hitting step-back threes in varsity game. Look, it might be the lowest level of varsity basketball of all time. And I'm not going to lie, it probably is the lowest level of varsity basketball ever. But to be doing that at 10 years old, to say there are not many better 10-year-olds in the country than Jaden Newman, that's not lying. There are not many 10-year-old girls that can do what Jaden Newman was able to do on the floor. Just like there weren't that many 10-year-old boys that were, or lads that were good enough to do what Julian Newman was doing on the floor. I mean that. I think Julian Newman is one of the better 10-year-olds to ever play the sport of basketball. The problem is that, he didn't improve. And that's the thing when it came to Jaden Newman. She stopped growing at about 5'4", which is extremely small. But it's the equivalent of what? Being 5'10" for men? There are 5'5". What height is Crystal Dangerfield? Crystal Dangerfield's tiny in the W. Because Julian Newman obviously is 5'5". So, what height is Crystal Dangerfield? And she's probably, just by the looks of things, she might look like she probably looks on the court the smallest player I've seen in the W. She's 5'5". Yeah, so what? An inch smaller than Crystal Dangerfield. So it's not like she's Julian Newman equivalent height. And the problem is that even though she was still putting him 30 in high school as a freshman, 30 in high school while in middle school, it was never about it became never about the basketball. So if you guys, this is one thing where I'm looking, I'm like, this was the Newman problem, is that it stopped being about basketball and it started being about everything else. So if you can see, she's at a camp. She is kind of getting into it and attempts to shove her in the face, misses, and just kind of gets into it with another player. And it just looks like she gets shoved and it looks like she wants to attack her. And by the way, this is the most hold me back to make me look tough moment ever. She's not even running forward, she's pretending to run at her. But obviously has to show. And then her and her dad just start getting into an argument. Her dad gets in on the argument, and then, as it's happening, her dad turns around and just starts clapping because he knows viral gold. And if you guys did not see, 5.5 million views in 3 years. That is one of the biggest female hoops mixtapes. Her father looks like a typical guy who would encourage a fight and runs away when he's the one on target, and confidently say every player on the court is better than Jaden. They showed the full game, she did nothing in this game. And that's the thing, is she did not get any better as a player. What's she in this picture, or in this video? I think it's 2021, is it? I think she is 16, 17 years old, and she'd actually not really improved between 13 and 17, which is not ideal. And a Reddit thread here. Do you think she'll make the WNBA? Had to look up who she was. Doesn't appear to have any offers, doesn't appear to be ranked. Does she even have scholarship offers? Some of the top colleges don't even stick around the W with so few roster spots. There were, Miami were looking to sign, Miami were, contemplating offering her a scholarship when she was, 11. She was that good. This was a Monty Bates type things. She's a better chance of WNBA and abroad for the NBA. And the NBA has 12 teams. She's going to be a social media influencer. Unfortunately, I think she did end up going into OnlyFans. Anyone they want to do that can choose to do that. I'm not going to judge someone by that. I've seen her play in person. She's average high school player. She's a novelty because of her social media president. Or social media presence. Jesus. Another question, will she make the league? We all hating too much. Not saying she'll make it. Both her and her brother were crazy going to grade school. So say her dad's a good coach is crazy. Go look up 10-year-old highlights. Go look up her 10-year-old highlights. But what actually did happen to her? She actually did sign for Cal State LA, a D2 school. So they played against Pepperdine. Is that Pepperdine? I can still just see Pep. Is that Pepperdine? Yeah. So like the school she went to only lost to them by 8 points. But in that preseason game, sorry, is that their previous game? She played against SDSU, and they lost in overtime, which is cool. And I think Cal State LA is D2, isn't it? Yeah, or at least they're D2 now. But for the 23-24 season, which was last season, and that is the only year she has played, she played 5 games and made a shot. She's shooting 16% from the field. In fairness, she's shooting a better percentage than Julian is at NAIA, I have to say. But she made a shot. She made a 3-pointer. She played 14 minutes, made her Cal State LA debut for 4 minutes in a huge win. Scored 1 point and was 1 or 2 from the free throw line, grabbed 1 rebound, scored a season-high 3 points. But you see here, like, she was Max Prep's all-time leader in 3-pointers made. 3-pointers made in a season. 3-pointers made in a game. Like, she made 17 threes in a game. Even if you're shooting 30, that's impressive. Like, it is impressive making 17 threes in a game. It doesn't matter how many you're shooting. It is still impressive to make 17 threes in a, 40-minute game? No matter what, that is impressive. She made 11 threes and a half. She made 6 and a quarter. I'm surprised 6 and a quarter is the record. Like, I was surprised someone just didn't get nuclear hot and make more. Was the youngest player to score 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 points. Ended her career with 5,000 points. Earned Nevada All-Southern Conference honors twice. Florida All-State Conference SAA honors 4 times. A member of National Junior Honor Society. And that's the thing where it's like, she was clearly a much better, like, whatever about Julian Newman's high school stuff, there was clearly a lot more potential for Jaden Newman to be a good basketball player. First of all, she was she was an inch to 2 inches off being around the same height as the smallest WNBA players, whereas Julian Newman was 5'5", which is, in the men's game, I mean, you might as well just give up at that, not give up at that stage, but give up on being an NBA player. And she had, like, I hate to say this, and I'm not saying she would have been ever a WNBA player, because it's so hard to make the W, but it's a lot easier because of, is it Title IX that has scholarship money has to be even? It is a lot easier to make it as a D1 college athlete if you are if you're a girl than if you're a lad, because there are a lot less people to try to get the same amount of scholarship slots. It's not saying it's easy, it's easier. And she wasn't as small as Julia Newman was for the respective sports. She was better in high school. And it just seemed like she stopped, as soon as the Newman family show came out and everything, she stopped caring about basketball. And in the end, she averaged 0.8 points per game through 5 games at a D2 school. Which, like, she's just not good at basketball. Like, you couldn't even put her on the floor. Well, what age is she now? She's probably like, early 20s. Like, if you played her against, like, Irish girls her age, she wouldn't survive. She would not survive. If she had a different country's passport and tried to go to the under-20s Euros last year, she would not have survived. And I mean that. I genuinely do. Like, she went from being, I'll confidently say, one of the best 10-year-old basketball players ever. And again, look, I don't think that means anything. Like, that statement is probably factually correct. And if we're being honest, it is factually correct. But it doesn't mean anything to be the best 10-year-old hooper ever. It really doesn't. And that's the reality situation, is that, yeah, she probably is, by definition, the best 10-year-old hooper ever. But that is something that means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. And her basketball career has been almost non-existent. Like, she didn't even give us the, she's not even giving us the low-light compilations that Julian Newman is. And as of right now, I'm not even sure if she's playing basketball. She tried to play last year. Maybe I hope I'm wrong about the OnlyFans stuff. Like, I just read a bunch of things online about that. I really hope I'm wrong about that stuff. But at the end of the day, if I'm not wrong, it is what it is. Not going to judge anyone for that. But it's a pity. Oh, maybe she's still at Cal State, LA. Because she's still posting about it. Even though this year, like it says, she's not playing at all. And she is a hip-hop artist now. According to her Instagram, she is a hip-hop artist with a song, Bounce, and that does not... I mean, she's still playing basketball? Okay. Okay, at least there's some money in that. There'll be some money in that, I guess. And you know what? She'll make a lot more money from that stuff than she will from basketball. Oh, yeah, but yeah, I don't see her making the W. I don't even see her scoring more than 5 points in a game at Division 2 level.